Greetings, Ocean Park. It is good to stand before you and record this video. It's a video that I've been looking forward to being able to record. The video, I wanted to walk you through the how of our relaunch plan. How, in the midst of this pandemic, we will be able to meet back together. That day is coming and it's drawing nigh. We don't know the exact date as of yet. We're still working out those details and talking it through. But one thing we do know is how we're going to be coming back together. The elders, the deacons, we have a medical team that we have advisors that we have sought counsel from. We are adhering to the guidelines of the CDC and our state and local governments to be able to be faithful, to be responsible and wise in how we gather together. And also in conjunction with other churches in the area, the local Jacksonville Baptist Association, other churches that are similar sizes and similar situations with Ocean Park, we have had a lot of dialogue and conversations with, and that's where we get our plan for relaunching. But let me tell you this, is that I realize that not everyone will be in attendance our first Sunday back, and that's okay. There's no pressure for you to come back. There is no shame that will be on you. We are deliberately leaving the live stream on so you can still be engaged and be able to be watching what's happening. And when the time comes and we urge you to be able to be cautious and thoughtful, when you feel comfortable coming back, we encourage you to come back. But please, please don't stay away permanently. We need to be together. And that's why we have come through these guidelines and these requests that the elders have asked the members of Ocean Park to adhere to. Some will think that these are too much, too many things, and that we are being overcautious. If you feel that way, that's okay. But we also ask that you would humbly follow our requests for being able to come back together. Love your brothers and sisters well. Honor your leaders in how you assemble together. Because we want to make sure that everyone is comfortable, everyone is as safe as we possibly can as we unite together. So, with that being said, we rejoice at the ability to be able to come back together. If you'll notice, the first thing in our list of the guidelines and practices we will put to place, please, if you feel that there are any symptoms, if there's any remote possibility you may have been exposed to someone with the virus, we ask that you stay home and you be wise in when it's time to come back. We also ask that if you're an at-risk individual, you will be very, very thoughtful and that you would take extreme cautions because this virus is highly contagious and at-risk people are especially vulnerable to the virus. The last thing we want to do is for you, wherever you may be, at the store, at worship, at the beach, that you be exposed unnecessarily. We do highly encourage personal protection equipment, face masks, gloves. We ask that you please consider wearing them. We're not going to make those mandatory, but we ask humbly that you wear a face mask for the first few weeks while we're still watching and listening to the local government and the state government about reopening the state, and that we don't want to take any unnecessary risks. Face masks are a way to love your neighbor well because it doesn't necessarily protect you, it protects others in case you have it. And the last thing you want to do is to be able to expose your brothers and sisters to the virus when you don't know that you have it. We also want to practice good hygiene. Obviously, wash your hands, cover your cough. We will have sanitizing stations at all the entrances. When you come in, use those. When you leave, use those. Make sure that you're following good hygiene as we go. We're also going to be having a touchless service. All the doors will be propped open. There will be no offering plate. You'll notice there will be a receptacle at the back of the sanctuary and at the front of the sanctuary to be able to drop in your offering. If you give online or you mail a check, you'll still be able to do that, but we don't going to be passing the offering plate. When the Lord's Supper, when we do celebrate the Lord's Supper, we will have a process in place to make sure that the elements are not being touched by anyone but the recipient of those elements. And then we also will have the pews that we will be observing the social distancing. Every other pew will be closed, and those will be staggered on the sides of that. But also within the pews, we are going to be staggering the areas that you're able to sit. They will be marked out by painter's tape. Do not sit on the tape. Only sit in the areas that do not have tape. You'll have the outside of the pew, the inside of the pew, the outside of the pew, and that will stagger. Fortunately, for the facilities we have a large facility, and our regular attenders will be able to spread out, just like many of you like. We'll be able to spread out throughout the sanctuary at a very safe distance to be able to worship together and enjoy one another's presence for this temporary time as we move towards going back to what our new normal will look like. Also, children. We love the fact that our children run and play and laugh and just enjoy being at church, and we don't want to stifle that. But when we first come back, we ask that the children do not run, do not play, but to stay with their parents at all times. When you come in, sit down, and when you leave. We will not have fellowship in the sanctuary after. We ask as soon as the service is over that you would leave, go out the back wooden doors, and then go to the courtyard, go to the parking lot, stand in the grass area to be able to talk at a social distance, to be able to catch up and see one another. We won't have for the first few weeks a nursery, but realizing that your 2-, and 3-, and 4-year-old will be in the service, we're going to have a much abbreviated service. We'll have a sermonette, if you will, and then be able to have times of reading. And even the first few weeks back, we may not even have any singing, but we will be together and we'll be worshiping there. Also, if we ask that the children sit on the east side only of the sanctuary. The east side only of the sanctuary, that's what the area over here that is affectionately called by some parents the Ocean Park Jungle. If you would sit over there, this side of the sanctuary won't have any children. Just being, children don't, maybe they're actually better, I don't know, but children don't always observe the social distance. Even the really little ones don't understand the idea of a bubble, stay out of it. So we want to have the children sit on one side, and then anybody else that is not a child and not a close talker can sit on the other side. Also, the doors will be propped open throughout the sanctuary. We need clean teams. For after the service, we need 2 sets of clean teams of about 4 people to be able to go through, wipe down the tops of the pews, disinfect the doors, the openings, to be able to go through, wipe things down. That will come through every other. When the nursery opens back up, to be able to clean the nursery and disinfect that, be able to go through and make sure those clean teams will go through to do our disinfecting. And also, we know that we haven't seen each other in 2.5 months. And I have found that I see people and I want to give them a big hug, and I stop right about here and realize we're not allowed to do that right now. So displays of affection, hugs, shaking hands, let's keep that, not do that right now. I know my daddy told me to look them in the eye and shake their hand hard since I was a little boy, and that's a hard thing to stop. But if you just, for now, keep your social distance until that day when we can give a good handshake and embrace one another, we look forward to that. If you have any questions, If you have any concerns, if you don't know what to do, I would ask that you give me a call, or you can call Scott Hughes. You can find his number in the church directory. My number is 904-304-7313. If you have any questions, it would be my joy to talk to you. You can call me, you can text me, you can email me, cpartica@oceanparkbaptist.com. Again, if you would click the link below and you can see this, and we want to make sure we love each other well. We have a larger percentage of at-risk people, so we want to be very careful. And I look forward to the day when we can see one another, that we can sing with one another, that I can see the looks on your faces when I'm preaching. I'm tired of preaching to empty pews. It's not the way it's supposed to be. And what a day of rejoicing it will be when we come together and be able to worship together. Until then, I love you. I miss you. Godspeed.